we're going to learn how to use classes in Tkinter module. Now in this, before starting, first let me create a simple root window that will create an object of, sorry, I have typed wrong, that will create an object of tk, and I would use a main loop as well. Now for knowing why we use main loop, you can refer the video that has been displaying on the screen. Next, now what I want is, I want a frame to be added as a widget in my root window, but I want that I should create another class for this. There are various advantages of using classes in it. Now if I use a frame, so we can write the syntax as f equals to frame, and in the frame I can mention root as its master. Okay, and let me give one more value. This is equals to red. So this would create generally a frame, and let me specify the width as well. Width equals to, let's say, 500, and the height is also equals to 500. So now if I run this program, I would get oh sorry, I didn't pack it, so I need to pack it as well. So f dot pack, I need to pack it. Now when I pack this, I'll find a frame that has been displayed in the screen. Okay, now I want that, I need to create a class for this, and let me first comment this. Now I need to create a class for this. So for creating class, let w be the object of this class, and let window be my class. In window I also pass my root and the same attributes that I am passing here. I would pass a red, and width would be also 500. Also the height would be 500. So these are the same attributes that I need to pass on. So now I need to create this class. Now let me define my class as window. Now what you need to remember is, your class will inherit the class frame, because you are generally constructing a class for building a frame as well, na? So you need to make a class that will inherit the frame class. So this is my window class that inherits the frame class, and in this, now I need to create an initializer or a constructor. Now what is an initializer? Initializer is generally a function that automatically runs whenever we create an object of this. For example, I created an object w, so whenever this line would be executed, my initializer would automatically run. I need not to explicitly call it, that is implicitly being called, although we can explicitly call an initializer if you want to. Now how to define this? We generally, this is the syntax. The double underscore generally corresponds that this is a built-in method, and init is generally the method that is being used for this. So in this method I need to pass on a parameter, that is self. The self parameter generally holds the reference of this object w. It generally holds the reference. Well, the name can be anything, but it's a convention that we use self. It can be self1, self2, or any other name as you want to, but self is generally a convention that has been used. Next, what I am being passing is the root. So for the root is generally the master, so I need to pass on a master variable. Now herein also any extra positional arguments if I pass, that would go in star args. And what is this? This is generally a keyword argument. So for keyword argument we need to include a double star variable, that would be kwargs. So this is what we need to make, and this is the initializer. Now in this initializer I would explicitly call the initializer of the frame method. So it would be the same, and it would also include self, master, and args and star star kwargs. Fine. So you need to mention here none. Why? Because let's say I called this function and I don't pass any value in it. This is also a correct statement, but this will not execute if we don't write none. None will be passed in the master if I don't pass any value. Okay, so this is what we need to remember while doing this. So but I need to undo this. So here on we passing the master as root. Now if we run this code, and I have packed this or not, I haven't packed this, so I need to pack it also. So my reference is been hold in the self variable, so I need to call self dot pack, and this would generally pack it in the center. We generally use w dot pack, but w reference is being present in the self variable, so I need to use self dot pack instead of w dot pack. Okay, now I got the same result, and you can also check the code in, if you go where I have stored the Python in the Tkinter module. As you can see, I go to Python folder, and I go to lib folder, lib folder, then going to the Tkinter module, and in the Tkinter module there is an init command. I need to run this with ideally. And now if I open this and I find the frame method, you're gonna see like match case, yeah, as well. So this is a frame class, and in this frame class, as you can see, this is the initializer of this class. Okay, so this initializer is also almost the same. This self would contain the object reference. If we have used the frame, that is we generally uses without the class, if I have used this f variable, then this self would contain the reference that has been contained in the f variable. My master would be the root, and herein star args also corresponds to sets. I have explained you to tuples, but we can also use set in our case. So this generally corresponds to a set, and initially it generally corresponds to an empty set, and there is a star star kw, that is the keyword arguments, that is bg equals to red in our case. So this would also give the same result if we use these two statements instead of making our own class. Now what I have to do is I need to create an entry wizard. So for creating this, I need to use entry, and I want this entry inside my frame. Now the frame reference has been contained in which variable? That is the self variable. So my self would act as my master here, and now I need to pack this also. So if I pack this and I run this program, you're gonna find an entry wizard. But where's the frame? Attention, not the frame is there only, but the frame has resized itself according to the wizard, because it's a property of the frame in Tkinter that it resizes itself according to the sizes of the wizard. Now we need to override this by using a statement. You need to use the statement self dot pack underscore propagate, and you need to pass an argument 0. This would tell the Tkinter that the frame should not resize itself according to its wizard. It should retain its original size. Now if I run, I will get the original size of the frame. Okay. Now we can do this by one more method. Let's say I need to make another class entry. So I need to define one more class entry. Sorry, it is built in. So let me change its name to ebox, and I need to inherit this from entry, and I define the same, or I copy this rather, it would be good, and I use the same code. Sorry, I use the same code here also. So what will this do? This will create an entry wizard. Okay, now what I make now herein I need to omit this, because I need not to create an entry object. Now I need to create an ebox, and what should be the master of this? Master should be self, that is the frame should be the master of this, and I need to pack this as well, but instead of packing it here I can pack it here because I have already written this. So if I run this command now, I would get the same output. Now what you need to remember here, there are two variables, self is present here also, self is present here also, but this self value generally holds the value or the reference of the entry object E. This self generally corresponds to E. I should write it here. The self generally corresponds to the self in the init function. In the init method, that is this self generally corresponds to the E object. Okay, the E object has been corresponding to this, whereas the self this generally corresponds to the frame object because it is of the frame. So this corresponds to the frame object, and this self has been passed in this master because I have been passing this. So this master would generally contain the reference of this self, and this self contains the reference of a frame. So indirectly this master would contain the reference as frame. Thus the master of this entry box would be frame. So you need not to confuse with this. So that's it. I hope you now understand how to use the concept of classes in Tkinter. Further, if I created a similar class, let's say I create one more class, and in this class I imported tk. So in this case, what the main thing is, master would be none. So I need not to be pass any master here. So master would be none in this case. Okay. So that's it for this video. I hope you understand the concept of classes, and if you have any doubts or any comments, please mention it below, and do subscribe my channel for more such videos, and please like and please mention in comments if you feel like any improvements in my video also. Thanks. Okay, bye.